Sick of isolation? Watched everything on Netflix? Miss your friends? Then it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the Loyola College Variety Hour. Here's your host, Michael O'Keefe.
Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 3 of this, the Loyola College Variety Hour. What a pleasure it is to be with you again this evening for episode 3 of 4 episodes. So the penultimate episode. Thanks you so much for coming on board again this evening. Whether you be watching on YouTube or Facebook, a pleasure to have you once again. Hey, if you've stumbled across this little broadcast, it is of a Catholic secondary school in the northeastern suburbs of Melbourne, about 20 kilometres out of the city. And we've put this little show together while we are in stage 4 lockdown. Just a way to engage our community, speak to some of the big names at our school, and a bit of entertainment for you for the next hour. Hey, on tonight's show, lots of fantastic people to speak to. Coming up very shortly, Bryan, a Year 7 student, is going to hit us up with some beautiful guitar playing. We'll welcome Mr. Mark Cudden, one of our big name media teachers at the school, is going to join us. Can't wait to speak to him. Sean Adipanomo from Year 8 is dropping by to talk everything sustainability. It was sustainability last week, and he's going to give us a report on what happened there. Well, people have been requesting this and wanting this, and finally we've got him. The big man himself, Tim Bland, our Year 12 drama captain, is going to join us live on the show to tell us what musical theatre is coming up in the next year once we get out of this lockdown. And we're going to welcome class of 2009. Our alumni this evening is Natalie Kotsis, very well-known makeup artist in our area. So all that and more. The quiz is back again tonight. And tonight's quiz is all about the colours of our houses, the 6 colours. So in fact, we've got 12 questions coming at you this evening instead of the usual 10. So stick around for the next hour. This is the Loyola College Variety Hour. Coming up next, Bryan. Okay, he's like most of our Year 7s. He's actually been at home more than he's actually been on campus. But he's made a big impact already on Loyola. Tried out and got into Mary Poppins the musical, and tonight he is going to play us some guitar. Would you please welcome to the show, Bryan. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening, Mock.
How are you, sir?
I'm going well. How are you?
I'm very, very well indeed. And how is lockdown treating you?
It's got its perks, and it's kind of bad sometimes because you miss your friends and you're not at school. But on the bright side, I get some more time to practice my guitar, and I get some more family time.
Certainly very, very important. And just tell us briefly, how long have you sort of been involved with the performing arts? Tell us a little bit of your primary school history.
So I think it was in Year 2, so about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, my 2 mates, Brody and Kai, who are probably watching this right now, got me into a musical theatre class, and I tried it out for the first time and loved it. And ever since then, I've been highly involved with performing arts and musical theatre. My guitar, I started taking lessons about 6 years ago. And yeah, that did really well. Had a bit of a shaky start, but then, yeah, got better and better as the years go on.
And tonight you're going to play us a little bit of acoustic guitar. What song have you got for us this evening?
The song I'm playing is Blackbird by the Beatles. This is a difficult song because I learned it, I just finished learning it and I started the whole finger plucking technique about 3 months ago. So,
All right, so you put a challenge out there for yourself, but I've heard you play a little bit of it in rehearsal, so I'm sure you're going to be amazing. Why don't you grab your guitar while you're there? And ladies and gentlemen, only in Year 7, and we've highlighted some amazing Year 7s on this show, but tonight it's all about Jack Bryan. Here he is with Blackbird. Hey, Jackie boy, beautiful, mate. Lovely rendition. Congratulations. You happy with that?
yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, we will eventually see you on stage in July next year for Mary Poppins. Are you excited about that?
Oh, yeah, I'm stoked. Couldn't be more excited. Love performing arts, love Poppins. Excited for the future performances ahead of me.
Good on you, Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Bryan on the Loyola College Variety Hour. Have a good week, Jack.
You too, Mock.
Thanks. Jack Bryan there, a beautiful rendition for a Year 7 there on the acoustic guitar. Fantastic. All right, coming up right up after this little break, we've got media teacher, Kiss lover, comic book collector, Hawthorne enthusiast, Mr. Mark Cudden. Okay, well, many students at the school will know who he is. He's been at Loyola a little while now, and it's great to have on the show. Would you please welcome Mr. Mark Cudden? Good evening, Mark. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, well, very good, very good.
Hello, Michael.
How you
Thanks for
going?
inviting me.
No, pleasure to have you on.
No, it was a wonderful experience, and hello to all the audience out there, Loyola people, and the larger community. And how good was Jack with his beautiful rendition of the Beatles song? Just on that, I've got a couple of Beatles collection artifacts in my collection, so that was nice to hear that from Jack.
Yeah, and the Beatles, correct me if I'm wrong, when iTunes first came out, the Beatles catalogue wasn't on there, was it?
No, I think there was licensing issues
Yeah.
and who owned what. And I know Michael Jackson owned it for a while, and I guess it's a big business and it's acquisition issues. But I think now McCartney, they do own the rights again now, which means that they can, I guess, license them out and get some money out of it, I think.
Now, before we get into some of your passions, I guess, let's talk a little bit about your journey as a teacher. So a little bit pre-Loyola, and then how did you arrive at Loyola College?
Yeah. I guess with teaching, it's not. I guess I think of it as a vocation. It's a pathway. I started out in industry. Really, I was in the building industry for a number of years, and then I went back and did some study and found my way into the humanities area, and morphed into a media teacher. Worked at a few schools, and landed at Loyola. And over the last, as you say, about 10 years, I've been in the visual arts and teaching media studies, which is really good. It's creative, and the students own it. They bring their beautiful creativity to the subject. It's a wonderful experience to have those students working together and producing beautiful pieces of artwork and various mediums. It's great.
And so let's talk about Loyola. What are some of the reasons why you still teach there and why you love it?
Yeah, look, I think there's a number of things, really. I think, as a lot of people said before, it's our sense of community. We have a nice little place and space at Loyola. We have beautiful grounds. We have students who are very respectful, very welcoming to staff. They do their studies quite well. They're very much switched on with regards to the whole culture of the school, I think, and which makes it really enjoyable to teach. When you know you've got this really nice tacit agreement between teacher and student, it's very welcoming. And also, I guess, as you know, with you, Michael, as well, with the staff, we've got a lovely community of teachers there, and that helps the vibrancy of the school as well, I think.
And actually this week is Staff Wellbeing Week, and of course there's some great initiatives going on, and some people have gone out of their way to make our staff feel very special. And it's challenging at the moment because everyone is at home in front of a screen for 8 hours instead of those hallway conversations that you have or the little catch-ups during the day. How have you found teaching from home?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this is lockdown 2.0, I imagine, which we call it. At the first stage, I was at home on carer's leave, so it was a bit of a different experience for me. So it's quite new for me as well, learning the ropes of having all the classes on a remote platform. So it does have its challenges, and I know you're right. It's the being tethered to the screen a lot. Certainly has challenges, but I think most of the kids, if you set them a body of work, and I guess in areas that's creative, you try and foster that creativity even at home. With their devices, with portable devices, they can get away from the screen, take some photos, do a nice panning shot for a video. Those sort of little things like that are really important, and gets them thinking about the visual aspects of media at home as well. And I was going to say as well, with regards to the whole culture of the school, I think we've been fortunate that we do have a really good overseas program pre-COVID, where we allow the students to think globally as well. And we've been on a couple of overseas tours, and I was fortunate to go to China to look at the way the Jesuits had this beautiful relationship with the Chinese community over a number of years, and a lot of the Jesuits missionaries walked with the Chinese people, which was very historical. And the whole faith aspect is still evident in some places in China, although it's very difficult a little bit now to see. And then obviously our trip to the States, where we took the performing arts and the visual arts students as well, was a great experience for those kids as well. So we are lucky in that sense.
Now, you'd have to rate that as one of your best moments in the last 10 or 12 years. It was an amazing trip. Was it April last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the end of term 1 holidays, and I guess contextually thinking now how the world has changed, it was good for the students to see, I guess a degree of normalcy prior to the way the world has shifted now, and that experience will ground them, I think, for the future, which I think is great.
And now let's move away from Loyola. Let's move to some of your passions. So you are sitting right now in a bit of a man cave that I have visited a few times myself.
Yeah, can you see my pinball machine in the background? You might
Yeah,
not be
you
able-
can actually. You can just see it. So tell us, why don't we start with Kiss? You are a huge Kiss fan, a big Kiss collector. At one stage, you were president of the Kiss fan club here in Australia. Tell us how you got your start with loving the band and how it went into collecting.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like the way, I guess, being an older person now, how you write passions and the need to collect, and I call it probably curating and acquisitions and curating. It's like a museum, so to speak. So I guess it's like we saw Jack just play the Beatles song before. It just, if you strip it all back, it gets down to the music and the whole aspect of rock and roll. And if you walk into my room, it's just like having a time travel back to a Kiss concert or a particular time in the 70s that people remember. So much so now that I have a guest book for people who come into the to the little man cave museum and they sign the guest book. And the great thing about it is people say, look, I remember that, or I had that, or I remember that song. So it takes people back to their childhood, which is a nice experience. And I had my collection displayed at the Melbourne Museum as part of an educational community collection. And I've been on TV a couple of times with it as well. So it does have they say, okay, it's throwaway art, which in many ways it is throwaway art, but it's like ephemera. If you hold on to things, they do have their own story. So what I've been doing as well, as you say, Michael, recently is looking at the collectability of rare comic books, which is quite interesting as well. So
now, do you have one there that we can have a look at? Have you got
I've got a couple of things to show you. So
Great.
just with regards to the Kiss memorabilia, these are, can you see these? These are like a sealed pack of bubblegum cards from 1978. So
Yep.
you can, if you smell them, I know you can't obviously hear, but people love smelling them, and they smell the actual bubblegum in the pack, in the wax pack, so it takes them back. So I've got 2 packs of those, and I have a sealed box that came in from Milk Bars. I still have those in my collection, and they're worth about, I reckon, $500 or $600 now, that sealed box. Also have a Kiss ice cream wrapper from 1980. Now, you can see it's damaged here, but what kids used to do is, they used to, in probably Loyola, 1980, when we first started as a school, the kids would buy an ice cream, they'd take the wrapper off and poke it under the school classrooms or the slats in the buildings. And there are some avid collectors who used to go around and obviously in demolitions, and these collectors would scour the demolition sites of schools and houses and find these wrappers. So this one was found, I reckon, probably in the 90s. I bought it for $5, and it is worth, on eBay, it's gone for up to $300 for that wrapper. Because again, we're a throwaway society. So that's a really nice item to have, in the sense that, it tells you a story about kids at school and the way we were a disposable society. So it's nice to hold on to something like that and share that story. Now, with regards to the comics, I want to talk about the comics for a second.
Yeah, let's go. What do you got?
Yeah. So, the comic collection sort of, I said I was on carer's leave last year, and I did have some rare comics prior to that, but look, again, they're a bit like stocks and shares, where a lot of them are going up in price, especially with the explosion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As you know, Michael, I think Infinity War or Endgame is one of the highest grossing film of all time, and that's been spawned from, if you think a simple comic book narrative spawned that whole universe. And I've got a few here. So if you see this one here, this is Spider-Man number 33. Now, in the pantheon of comic books, this is probably one of the most important comics written with regards to Spider-Man. You can see how he's almost virtually drowning. He's under a concrete pylon. The water is splashing on him. The artist who did that, his name is Steve Ditko, and he only passed away a couple of years ago. So this image in this comic has had some sort of degree of homage in Spider-Man 2, the one with Tobey Maguire, and the recent movie with Tom Holland, the first one, Homecoming.
Yep.
Where you see him lifting something off himself, and it goes back to 33. So that, in terms of that piece of history, and you think of the whole spawning of the cinematic universe, it's really, really important. So I'm so happy I've got that comic. And this one here, these two here, you can see I've got 2 here.
Yep.
One here is, I don't know if you know the character Kingpin. He is a very powerful character in the Netflix Marvel Daredevil series. And I love that cover because you can see most of the early covers of Spider-Man he's afflicted in some way, or he's sort of in some sort of stress. And I love the green. And most of the villains in the Spider-Man universe are green because it has I guess a symbolism of the color of like I guess envy or jealousy or a degree of anger. And this one here as well is very similar. You got the Mysterio character, which was in the recent Spider-Man film Far From Home. Now, what I love about these two covers, Michael, and viewers, is that these were drawn by the second only ever artist to draw Spider-Man. So it was Steve Ditko first, and then John Romita second. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that John Romita is 90 years old and he's still living, he's still with us. Wow. So I'm holding a piece of artwork by the artist, the second only ever artist to do the Spider-Man character. The whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is spawned from it, and he's still living with us. So that's fantastic, I think. So that's one of the reasons why I like acquiring them, because it's telling a beautiful story about the history of popular culture.
Well, I've been in the room there. It's amazing. You've got some amazing stuff, and it's been great to chat to you this evening on the Variety Hour. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you at the audience out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. That's Mr. Mark Cudden there, one of our senior teachers at Loyola College. Fantastic. I hope you're enjoying the show this evening. Still to come tonight, we're going to chat things sustainability. We also are going to speak to one of our alumni very shortly, and the quiz is coming up. But first of all, I want to have a bit of a chat to you about one of our charities, which I've been doing the last little while with you, and that is the Caroline Chisholm Society. And of course, they are part of our Chisholm House. So for those of you that haven't watched the Variety Hour before, each of our houses are aligned with a charity who our students fundraise for over the year. I've got a little video here explaining some of the work that Chisholm does.
In the late 1960s and early 1970s, a group of people came together and created the Caroline Chisholm Society.
Caroline Chisholm Society is based on 3 sites in Melbourne. So we have a site in Shepparton, in Essendon, in Caroline Springs.
We're best known for giving donations and supplies to families in need. We do that both at the Essendon office and the Shepparton office. We can only do that by people donating their goods that they've used for their children.
Okay, some fantastic work there by the Caroline Chisholm Society. And if you would like to make a donation to them or any of our 6 house charities, that is where you need to head off to 2020loyolawalk.raisley.com. We have now raised over $16,000 so far, which in a COVID year is absolutely amazing. And thank you to everyone out there who has donated. It is not too late to donate or register. We have a lot of students out there that have yet to register themselves on the program. So get onto it, 2020loyolawalk.raisley.com. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk things sustainable. All right, we have a very vibrant sustainability group at our school. They do lots of amazing stuff, and last week was Sustainability Week. So please welcome to the show Sean Adipanomo, who is going to talk to us about all things sustainability. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And how is lockdown treating you?
It's been okay because it's nice having family at home, but I miss having friends, hang out with them during break and stuff.
Well, only hopefully, fingers crossed, a couple more weeks to go and you can certainly catch up with some friends, maybe not at school, but maybe at their house. Let's hope that happens. Now, you're in year 8 at Loyola, and of course you were you had the greatest mentor teacher in the world last year. So that's just a shout out to me. But sustainability, can you tell me a little bit about how you got involved with the Sustainability Club at Loyola?
Really, it's just quite simple. It just was looking around when we had these, when we got to have time to look around about what clubs there are and what they're about. I was looking at sustainability, and they were trying to do something really soon about chickens.
Yeah.
And right now at the school they have chickens, and I really wanted to get involved with the chickens, so I joined sustainability.
Great. Yeah, and we've got the chickens, and we've got an amazing veggie patch there as well. So last week was Sustainability Week. Tell me everything, Sean. Tell me, what are some of the great things we've been doing, and what has the Sustainability Club been up to recently?
For Sustainability Week, we did like a hoot, but not that much people joined. It was only the people from Sustainability, and we made a petition.
Yeah, petition.
Yeah. And we had about 114 students.
And what was the petition about? What were you asking for?
About how canteens should have reusable plastic forks and spoons.
Ah, very good. Important topic. What else? What else have we been up to at Loyola with sustainability?
We've been sending emails every week talking about different topics like palm oil and fair trade.
Fantastic. And have you got anything else from Sustainability Club?
Something that we are going to do really soon, once we get back to school, hopefully, is we're going to do a phone...
like recycling your phones?
Yeah, recycling a phone, yeah.
Yeah, because lots of students go through phones a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So there's going to be a box at the office, and like you can put your old unused phone at any time, and then once it's full, we'll get it recycled, or we'll bring it to the recycling and get the phone.
That's a fantastic initiative, and I'm sure that some students, when they get out of lockdown, will probably be ready to buy a new phone. I think the new iPhone comes out in October, so there might be some students picking that one up.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And how would people get involved with sustainability at Loyola?
Well, when we get back to school, they can donate their old phone and they can recycle it. They can try to do that petition. And yeah.
And they could probably speak to Miss Mesner, I would assume, and maybe join the Sustainability Club.
Yes, they can. Right now, we are actually having club meetings on MS Teams.
Fantastic.
So if you want to join, please contact Miss Mesner.
All right, so if you want to join Sustainability Club, Miss Mesner is your person. Give her an email or hit her up on MS Teams. Hey, Sean, been a pleasure having you on the show this evening to talk everything sustainability. Hope you have a good week, and we'll see you back at school real soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was Sean there from the Sustainability Club. Always a pleasure having our friends from Sustainability on the phone, or on the show really, and telling us what is happening around town. Still to come tonight, we have got the quiz. It's not too far away. But next, we're going to have a chat very, very soon to our drama captain, Tim Bland. But before we do, we have got our next charity to look at, and that is the Jesuit Mission. The video I'm about to show you is a very, very current video of what the Jesuits are doing overseas when it comes to COVID. So check out this little bit of vision here.
Situation is actually still people are stranded in the cities, mostly the daily wage workers. So they are trying to come back to their home. It's not possible. And day by day, the virus cases are rising one by one. Today, if you go for work, you get money. With that money, evening you buy food for today and tomorrow. So such people, when they don't find work, how will they survive?
There are 3 hospitals in the whole of Jharkhand, and we have a population of over 30 million people.
The government is trying to provide them some rice, especially 35 kg for a month. Still in a family there are 8 people, 10 people. It won't be enough for a month. Gypsies in Hazaribagh, for government cannot do anything because they don't have any identity of this Jharkhand state. So such people, we are there to help. All the communities in 8 districts. So we conducted whatever you could do, help the poor people, visit the places, identify them, provide them food materials, masks, try for some sanitation things, and see that if they have got government food product or not. So that is one we did. Second, 4 of our schools have got midday meal. That is when they come into the school, we have to provide them lunch. Government has to provide 2 months this lunch food. That is about 100 gram of rice per student per day. So we have to give 2 months, 60 days of food together in the children's family. We have to go and reach them so that they can have something.
Many of the sisters are making masks, for example. So there's been a very good response from all the religious communities. The wonderful cooperation and support that we're feeling. And especially not only financial support, but feeling that we're part of one particular team and all working together.
All right, the Jesuit Mission, and they are linked to our friends at Xavier House. So big shout out to Xavier House this evening. If you'd like to help out the Jesuit Mission doing some fantastic work in developing countries, you can do that by visiting 2020loyolawalk.raisley.com. Search for your favourite student, register, donate to just Xavier House, and the money will get off to the Jesuits. All right, fantastic. Well, it's not long now. The main man's about to come up. Our drama captain, Mr. Tim Bland. All right, it's been request after request after request. When is Tim going to be on the show? I said, look, we can't bring out the big guns in episode 1. We need to wait. And we did. Please welcome to the show this evening, Tim Bland. Hello, Tim.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
It's so good to have you on the show this evening. We've, it's by popular demand, really. The people called, and I've delivered.
Well, it's honestly the best time to do this kind of thing. You know, we're all stuck at home, so I think we need something to just liven everyone's spirits. So I think a good variety show live on Facebook and YouTube is the best thing to do. And what better way to do it than with yours truly, moi.
Very good. Thank you, Tim. And how has it looks like you're at Mark Cudden's house. What's going on behind you?
Yeah, it is my nerd collection. Yeah, my Doctor Who collection. So any Doctor Who fans out there, you're probably going mental over this. But yes, I mean, lots of people don't know that about me, but I actually am a big sci-fi nerd, not just musical theatre. So there's something you didn't know, people. Yeah,
we might, in the next pandemic, and when we do the next season of the Variety Hour, we'll have to get you to do a Doctor Who tour.
Yeah, good.
Good, very good. Now, we've got you on the show this evening. Normally we'd get you on to perform because that's what we love to do. But I thought tonight people have seen you perform a fair bit, and I'm sure they'll see you again before the year's end. But tonight, you know, people need some hope. And they are hoping that theatres will open soon. I do notice that in the UK and in some parts of America, that's starting to slowly happen. Just before the pandemic hit, we had 1 billion new musicals coming to Australia. It was so exciting. But tonight, you're going to tell us what's coming up both on stage and on film in the world of musical theatre. So over to you, my friend.
So I think one of the big things we need to talk about is obviously Netflix and Disney Plus and streaming services just in general. So everyone is fully aware that Hamilton just hit Disney Plus, which made Disney lots of money, and it was a massive hit. And Netflix has recently just caught on to it with them announcing that Diana, a show about Princess Diana, is going to be coming to Netflix in around, I think it was March or October next year, which actually is before the show's meant to open on Broadway. So they're going to be filming the show during COVID. So they're putting big plans in place, and they're going to be putting that onto Netflix, which is going to be huge. And then heading back over to Disney Plus, we have shows like Aladdin, which are coming to Disney Plus. They've actually filmed a live show in the UK at the New Amsterdam Theatre, which is now home to Mary Poppins. Unfortunately, it is now all closed because of COVID. But so there is some big stuff coming to the streaming services, which is really exciting. But it kind of does beg the question: what will this happen? You know, how will this affect ticket sales and promotion for shows? Will this, you know, lower the viewing of seeing a show in person, or, you know, we don't know. So it's a bit of a risky area, and that's why you don't see many shows filmed.
Yeah, it is really interesting, and I've had many a debate with people about bootlegging, of course, the term when you go and watch an illegal version of a filmed musical. But I've always argued that all that does is make people more hungry to see it live.
Yeah, I agree, because yes, you're seeing the show and it's like, yes, it's illegal and everything, but you see it and you go, oh, I actually want to see that live now. Because I saw Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a bootleg, which, by the way, is my favourite musical. I saw it as a bootleg, and I just thought, I need to see this live. If this is great on a small screen, I need to see this in person. So I think that's where bootlegs are good. It's just when you have someone sitting next to you who's actually filming the thing, and it's just like, to put your camera away. But overall, they are a really good thing to have.
And I guess that's what Disney's are going, right, well, we're just going to whack it on Disney Plus. Yep. So for all of those of you who have filmed it with your mobile phone, it's become irrelevant. Go and watch it live. So I'm so excited for Aladdin to come our way as well.
Yeah, all we need now is Mary Poppins to turn up on Disney Plus, and there we go with some great research for kids doing Poppins next year at school.
That's true. All right, what else is coming up?
So shows that were meant to be coming to Australia or are still coming. It's happening, but a big show that was meant to be hitting the Regent Theatre was Moulin Rouge, and it has been postponed. They're still wondering what's happening, but it's based on the Baz Luhrmann film. It's the same name, about the two lovers, and they talk about all things love. So that was very exciting. It opened on Broadway last year, and what was going to be really funky about that show was that they were going to completely renovate the Regent Theatre, so completely strip it down and redo it, make it all glamorous, make it all very lovey-dovey kind of thing on the inside, similar to Harry Potter, which, if you've seen that show at the Princess, everything inside is Harry Potter related. There's nothing relating to any ordinary theatre, it's Harry Potter. So that was going to be interesting, but again, we don't know what's really happening with that. We also had Six, which was meant to be coming to Melbourne this year. Unfortunately, that has been postponed till next year. And we had a very big one coming to Melbourne as well, which was 9 to 5, which I'm very excited to see. But that one has thankfully been postponed and will be heading our way next year, similar to Hamilton as well. That's coming to Sydney, which I know many people have already bought tickets for a show that they don't know whether it's going ahead or not. So it's a bit tricky. In regards to... I was
going to say, back to 9 to 5, of course, it is starring a former Loyola student in Samantha Donamaid. Yeah. So shout out to Samantha if you're watching this evening. But that Sam was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in its professional tour, so Sam's done some amazing stuff. And yes, Hamilton, really interesting. And of course, you'll have the group of people that will wait to see whether it comes to Melbourne, which normally, under normal circumstances, they would announce fairly soon into a Sydney season, but with COVID, it's all a bit of a mystery. All right, what else have we got?
I've got shows that are meant to be coming or rumoured to come to Australia. There's a big rumour at the moment about Beetlejuice coming to Melbourne. What's even bigger is that they're actually going to be building a theatre for Beetlejuice permanently here in Melbourne. I highly doubt that will happen just because it's just cost too much money, but that's a big one that's going around. We also have Newsies, which is coming. That's another Disney one, so that'll make a lot of money when it hits. And also Anastasia, which I know many people are excited to see. We obviously had Rebecca Sisson perform a song from that show last week, and people seem to really like that. So if they enjoyed that song, I bet they're going to love the show. And then in regards to shows being turned into films, we have West Side Story being directed by Steven Spielberg, which is meant to be coming out this year. They're still unsure whether they might postpone it till early next year, but it is ready to go for this year. We also have a very big show written by the people who made Hamilton, and that is In the Heights, which I'm so pumped for, and I know that you are, Mock, as well. It's a great show to look
I actually still like it more than Hamilton.
I'm in the boat there.
Yeah, but if you loved Hamilton, you will love In the Heights, and that is being turned into a film. Though we don't know what the film, how close it's staying to the stage version, but
that's common with films that are from musicals into movies. That's common. They don't know they're going to cut songs or add scenes. So it's all a bit interesting to see what will happen with it.
So what's your favourite? What's the thing you're looking forward to seeing the most next? The minute you can step inside a theatre, what do you want to see?
I want to see 9 to 5, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great Dolly Parton, great music, and a great story. And while we've got you here this evening, of course, you are playing Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins. How are you feeling? Have you done any rehearsals yet? What's happening?
Well, we had 2 rehearsals earlier in the year for the show, but one of our directors, Mr. Venturi, shout out to Anthony. He sat myself and my co-star Hannah Chesser down. He's playing Winifred Banks, my wife, and we just kind of had a little discussion about how the characters are within the show and their journey throughout the show, and how they change very differently to how they are at the beginning to how they are at the end. So there's been some discussions, but both Hannah and I have been going over lines just at home privately, which has been great, just kind of getting to know the characters and who they really are within the story. But we're very, very excited to see what it's going to bring for next year. So we're looking forward to it.
No, it's going to be very, very exciting. Hey, pleasure having you on the Variety Hour tonight. And do you want to give your YouTube channel a plug?
Yes. People, if you enjoyed what you see, please go and hit subscribe at TJB Entertainment. It's great content. There's some singing videos, some vlogs. It's great stuff. So make sure you go and subscribe to TJB Entertainment.
TJB Entertainment on YouTube. Check it out. Do a search. That is the wonderful Tim Bland. We'll see you soon, Tim.
Thank you, everyone.
Woo! All right. Always a pleasure having a chat to Tim at any time. Always has lots of great stuff to tell us about. Okay, the quiz is coming up next. I know you've been waiting. If you're on Facebook right now, I think most of our adult audience are on Facebook. Get ready to throw your answers on there. We're going to be a little bit quicker this evening. We've got 12 questions to get through. So let's get warmed up for the quiz. All right, it is quiz time. All thanks to the wonderful Anne Musgrove, who always supplies us with our questions. Big shout out to Anne, who doesn't watch at night time. She watches the next day because she's an early to bed, because her role at Loyola is to get up and listen to all the phone calls of the teachers that have rung in sick. So she'll be in bed not too long from now. So we're going to fly through those tonight. But if you are on Facebook watching right now, I'm happy for you to throw an answer out there. So tonight it's all about the house colours. So here we go. Which Spanish artist, often associated Cubism, was known for having a blue period? A blue period. Which Spanish artist? I'm just having a look at some of our answers on Facebook and YouTube. If you're out there, fantastic. Thank you very much. Let's keep it rolling. Picasso was the answer there. That's the answer we needed for that one. Question 2. A stock or security which is considered to be very safe investment is called a blue what stock? A blue what stock? And the answer there, that was a nice easy one for all of you playing along at home, was chip. Oh, we've got a picture in there. Thank you, Chris Lynch. Yeah, we've got a picture in there from last week. We'll get rid of that. All right, question 3. Who was the first Australian to win a gold medal in the Winter Olympics? Who was the first Australian to win a gold medal in the Winter Olympics? Just having a little look here on our friends on Facebook. Coming up very shortly too, we are speaking to Natalie Kotsis, makeup artist extraordinaire, and she's going to tell us a bit about her journey since she left Loyola. The answer there is Stephen Bradbury. Stephen Bradbury, of course, and now, of course, in Australian folklore of people doing a Bradbury. What is the name of the gold nugget unearthed in Victoria in 1859, which most experts consider to be the largest gold nugget yet discovered? Karen Street, you were right with Bradbury, Graham Bland, Gemma Hedger, Natalie Bryan, Mark Montieri, all correct with Chip. So thank you very much for tuning in this evening. What is the gold nugget? I think there is in fact a pub named after this nugget in the middle of the city, if I remember correctly. The answer is the Welcome Stranger, and well done to Chris Lynch on Facebook for getting that one correct. In 1958, Sheb Wooley had a big hit with a novelty song that involved the colour purple. What was the song? What was the song? Well done to Graham Bland and Karen Street for also getting the answers correct. I'll go and see if any of our friends over on no, none of the students seem to know the answer over on YouTube. 1958, the colour purple was the Purple People Eater is the answer there. And of course, a little bit for you here, of course, the monster was never, the colour of the Purple People Eater was never named. They were eating purple people. But most people assume that that monster or whatever creature it would be purple as well. What kind of animal was the source of the purple dye created by the Phoenicians called Tyrian purple? There's a bit of a tongue twister for you. Yep, everyone on Facebook has got that last one correct. And snails, they use snails to make that colour. All right, question 7. In 1983, Enya released a song about 99 red objects, so we can get rid of the Beatles. That was from last week. What was the subject of the song? 1983, Enya released a song about 99 red what? I think most people will know this one. Balloons. Balloons was the correct answer there, the 99 Luft balloons. What kind of animal is a small Australian critter known as a redback? This is for the colour red. Fran, well done, you got balloons. Bronnie McLeod got balloons. Natalie Bryan, Chris Lynch. Graham Bland, close with squid, but in fact it was snail, but very close, but you are right on the balloons. All right, what kind of animal is the small redback? It is, of course, a redback spider. Most people would know that one as well. If your friend says they support the Maroons in the State of Origin match, what sport are they watching? Hello to all our northern watchers this evening, those of you in stage 2 or 3 areas of Melbourne, areas of Australia, and we wish we were you at the moment. Rugby league, and of course they would support Queensland, and the Blues are New South Wales. Question 10. In what movie was Tom Hanks marooned on an island in the South Pacific after his plane crashed? And a little play on words there by Anne, with maroon being not a colour but a situation. Rugby, yep, everyone got rugby right there, and Queensland, so well done. And that movie, of course, was Castaway. Fantastic film. Wilson! All right, question 11. What is the name of the chemical that gives plants their green colour? It's the essential of the process of photosynthesis. What is the name of the chemical that gives plants their green colour? Thank you, Mark Montieri, calling the movie Wilson, but it was called Castaway. Or he might have just liked my answer. Chlorophyll is the name of that one. And question 12. Which of the Muppets is green? Which of the Muppets is green? And the answer there, you should all know that one. Kermit the Frog is nice and green. Thanks, Anne Musgrove, for the questions. Next week for our final quiz, we're doing modern Melbourne. So questions about Melbourne, but modern Melbourne. And hopefully we are then only a week away from being out of lockdown. All right, coming up very, very shortly, former student, class of 2009, Natalie Kotsis is going to join us. All right, that's the quiz done and dusted for another week. Okay, we're joined now by another one of our alumni. It's been fantastic to have them on the show each week to find out what they've been up to, what they've been doing since they left. Tonight, we go back to 2009. For those staff members and families around who've been around for a while, you would have known her then as Natalie Chetchin. She's been married since. She's now Natalie Kotsis. Would you please welcome Natalie to the show? Hey!
Hi.
I've been watching you. Good evening. I've been watching you all night down in my Skype screen, just waiting as we lost all our other guests. So thank you so much for sticking around.
That's okay.
How's lockdown treating you?
I think it's been okay. We've had our ups and downs. I've got a little toddler now, so it can get a bit crazy trying to keep him entertained. But I've tried to stay focused on what I can control, and that's what we can do at home, and not stress about what's going on in the outside world, because that can really affect you if you focus on that too much. So we're trying to stay positive, pump some music in the mornings to get us up and going, and staying connected when we can to everyone. We're so lucky we can stay connected online, so that's been really good. And getting outside when we can, when the weather actually turns it on for us. But we've been having.
We are lucky compared to previous pandemics, for sure. Nothing to complain about there with connecting with each other. Now, we're going to talk about your time at Loyola in a moment, but I want to start actually from when you left Loyola. So 2009 was your graduate year. So tell us a little bit about what happened after you left Loyola.
Of course. So I left and I wasn't really 100% sure on what I wanted to do. I knew, obviously, I loved musical theatre and I loved performing, but I also loved makeup. But I wasn't just ready to move on to that just yet. So I worked in retail for about 5 years, and got to the point where I was like, no, it's my time. I'm going to do what I am passionate about, and I put everything into doing a makeup course. So I completed a diploma of specialist makeup and hair. And I did that for 6 months, and then I moved on to work at Napoleon. So I took my time to decide where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, but I'm glad I did, because I ended up in the right place. So
And so tell us a little bit about your time at Napoleon. When you look at it on sort of TV commercials and all the training stuff, it looks pretty intense. Is it a really high standard that they expect, and what were some of the things that you learnt there?
So I think just going back to my diploma course, we learned all the basics. And I think when I moved on to Napoleon and I actually worked in the store, getting the experience hands-on and learning with the actual clientele in my chair, I found that that's where I learned the most. So obviously, all the training you do is important, but once you actually put it all into practice and you work with actual human beings instead of dolls and stuff with the hair and all that sort of stuff, it's you just learn so much more. And I'm grateful that I did start there. And they do have a very high standard, so that taught me a lot.
So what area do you now specialise in? And, were there other areas along the way in makeup that you sort of went, oh, that would be interesting, but sort of went down another path? What was sort of your focus after you've done all your training?
So I always wanted to have my own business, and that was in all different types of makeup and hairstyling. And I love special effects makeup, so that was probably my favourite part of my diploma. But obviously when I worked at Napoleon, they don't specialise in that. So we did a lot of the glam makeup, people going to formals, weddings, events. Photo shoots, I love doing that as well in my course. Didn't do that so much at Napoleon, but now that I've moved on and I've got my own business, I do offer weddings, special effects makeup for Halloween, debs, formals, guests at weddings, and photo shoots. So yeah, it's all really exciting stuff actually.
Now you can't see this, but the people at home can. I've actually got some time-lapse footage of you doing some special effects makeup on the Addams family last year. So you're actually just putting a bald cap on Christian Panucci. So tell us a little bit about the process here.
Wow, that bald cap gave me nightmares. But so yes, I can't see what I'm doing in the video, but from memory, we had to gel his hair down and make sure it was all flat before we put the bald cap on. And then once you have it on the head, you have to cut it to size and then glue it down onto the skin all around the base of the neck and on the forehead, around the ears. And once you've done that, you have to make sure the edges are seamless, which was also extremely difficult, but we got there in the end. I think it got better over the nights. And then after that, we had to cover it in foundation to make it look like skin. So it was a very stressful, but I learned a lot. So I'm actually really grateful for being asked to come back and do makeup for that show, because that taught me heaps.
Yeah, and people don't know with makeup artists in particular, when working in film or television or theatre, you're sometimes the first people on set or at the theatre, particularly with shows like, well, we had Addams Family, but it might be Wicked, where Elphaba's all green, or whatever it might be. You guys are there pretty early with cast members from early on in the evening, aren't you?
Yeah, we do start really early. The bald cap was definitely one of the first things I had to get done, and we knew we didn't have a lot of time, but we made enough time to be able to do it. I'm trying to think back of all the other musicals we did. The Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah, there was some quick changes there. That was more during the show. You had to sort of change Tin Man, Lion and Scarecrow back into real people within like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Extremely fun. We had a lot of laughs, and we just had a ball, especially painting Sarah green in literally the smallest amount of time. So it was really exciting.
I'll get you at the end to plug your business just before people go, so they can remember it and write it down. So get your pens ready if you need Natalie once we get out of isolation. If you need Natalie for those big events next year, get your pen and paper ready. But let's talk Loyola a little bit. So you would have been there 2009, so 5, 6, 7, 8. You would have been there 2004 to 2009. What are some of your best memories from being at school?
My best memories are definitely the musicals, every single one of them. There are a lot of things in school that would that have stuck in my mind, but the musicals were always my favorite time of the year, and we all looked forward to getting together and putting on a show for our family and friends and extended family. So yeah, I loved the school component of school, like going to class, and I had some amazing teachers while I was at Loyola, so I was really lucky. You were one of them. And
that's not why I got you on the show, or Mark, but thank you.
I do remember my classes at Mr. Leary and all my teachers from when I was younger as well. Like, they all had an influence in my life. So really grateful that I went to Loyola. Thanks, Mum and Dad.
And you're now married with Bubs?
Yeah, married now. So a little boy, I think he's 20 months soon. Before we know it, he'll be 2. So
yeah.
Time's flying. I was pregnant during High School Musical when we were I was doing makeup for High School Musical, so
That's right.
that was interesting times as
Yeah.
well.
Fantastic. Now, before we let you go, you need to give your business a plug. How will people find you on the internet?
Yeah, so on Instagram, my name is Makeup by Natalie Kotsis, no spaces, no full stops, no nothing. And on Facebook, I'm pretty sure it's the same, Makeup by Natalie Kotsis. You can add me on Facebook and message me there as well. I don't mind.
Great.
However, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure to speak to you this evening. Thank you for letting us know everything you've done since you left Loyola, which was 11 years ago now. So that makes me feel old and all your teachers feel very old, but it's a pleasure having you always come back and help us out at school as well. So thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That is the wonderful Natalie Kotsisny-Chechen, and a pleasure to have her this evening on the show. And you can, as she said, check her out on Instagram and Facebook. Natalie Makeup by Natalie Chechen on Facebook and Instagram. We might put her links in the description once we get the video back up onto YouTube and Facebook. Well, what a show. We've actually gone overtime tonight. The first time in the series we've gone a little bit overtime. So that's great. It means that we've had so many great guests tonight. Thank you to all of our guests this evening for your time on our show. Next week is our last show just during the stage 4. So it is the last time to jump on. We've got the quiz. We've got more guests next week. In fact, I know a couple of our guests already. We're going to be speaking to alumni next week. Gianna Lucas or Ni Della Vecchia. Gianna is a radio presenter, does a lot of work in the space of empowering young women. So we're very excited to have her. We've got Felice Young singing us a song next week. And I don't think I've locked in my teacher next week, but that is coming very, very soon. So much thanks to everyone for watching this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you join us, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. Until next week, thank you so much for watching the Loyola College Variety Hour. Have a great week. See you soon.